friends, this is the Cryptonian taking a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is currently at 29,131, and you can see from the previous video I did identify a bearish pattern. This bearish pattern is called a bear flag basically. And from those bear flags, they usually break down about 70% of the time. 30% of the time they break to the upside. And what's really weird is we had a breakdown and we hit the target, which is that yellow line, and right there we have a fib, and so that's pretty much where it turned around at. It had a bounce 29,000, or excuse me, 28,592. And I did say when the price was over here moving up, I did say that most likely we would have a rejection and come back down sometime in that area to retest that. Well, we did have that retest, but then from that point, we actually went straight up to test the breakdown area. So, um, it seems to be strange behavior to have all these things happening in a short period of time, but let me explain a little bit here. So, whenever you break down from a level of significant support, and we were in this consolidation range where this yellow line, above the yellow line here, for quite some time. This yellow line is that consolidation area that we were in for weeks and weeks. Sideways action, very boring. And then finally we lost that area and we went sideways a bit, trying to hang on to the 50, and then we had a breakdown and push right back up. Now this is called a throwback. Whenever you break a significant level and then you come back and you test it, that's called a throwback. But to have a throwback right here after a breakdown and go straight back up and hit that, that's unusual. That's very unusual. Unusual volatile price action. And so some speculate that this could be from news. And when we take a look at news, the only significant news that I could find here as far as Bitcoin goes is Saylor's MicroStrategy plans $750 million stock sale, possibly to buy more Bitcoin. So, and that's, possibly what could have moved the market here in this area. Now, since our rejection from that previous level, was 29,901, we're currently retracing part of that. Now, we're not all the way back down to where we were. We have a little ways to go. We are seeing some buying coming in on this 4-hour candle, so we are seeing some bullish behavior. And so, is Michael Saylor buying more Bitcoin? Maybe. Someone is. Could be a whale, could be, the market sensitive to the news. Regardless, we did get rejected here. And the price is still under the 50 moving average and under the 200 moving average here. So we're just, the bulls are having a hard time holding on to this and maintaining this. Now the market is seeing a pullback. Algo down 3.6%, and 1 inch down 1.4%. BAT down 3.9%. Atom 2%. Doge down 4%. Dot down 2.5%. So we are seeing an effect on the altcoins, and this is kind of what happens, right? When Bitcoin goes down, the rest of the market goes down, and if Bitcoin has like a 1% retracement, then the rest of the market will retrace a multiple of that, which is times 2, times 3, times 4 sometimes. So altcoins are risky to be in right now, especially when Bitcoin is going down, but we'll have to just wait and see what happens in this area. This area does seem to be significant, and by price action, we'll just have to wait and see if this continues. Taking a look at the 4-hour statistics, we see here RSI is 45, which is slightly bearish. It's under the midline, which is 0.5 on the RSI. So we're a little bit weak here, and we can see we couldn't hang on to that area that we ran into as resistance, that previous area of support. EMA trend is bullish on the 4-hour, but that is probably going to change not too long from now, because we can see that this cloud, let me move this back, you can see that this green bullish cloud here is getting ready to roll. It's rolling over now. So, and then the DMA is bullish. And again, same story. If we continue more candles down in this area, that green bull cloud will close, and then these will flip over. Okay. Taking a look at the expansion, contraction, the volatility mod tool, we can see here that all of this area is a greater volatility. There's a greater volatility here, and you can see that volatility here in the um, volatility mod. So this is a move above the average that we've had in volatility recently. So, which means that there's some activity going on that's potentially in this area. Bulls potentially might be trying to move the price back up above 30,000, which right now we have a higher low. If we can hang on to that, we'll see. And then we'll see if we can, you know, not sure how many of the bears got destroyed. And that's another reason, too, why the price can go higher like that is you see a lot of bears getting pushed out of their positions. And when you have a short position and you get pushed out of it because of price, then you have to sell. It's an automatic sell order, right? And so that adds to the bullishness. So probably this was some of the bears getting pushed out of their positions. I don't think all of that was, just a whale or, you know, reaction to news. I think some of that, maybe a good part of that, was probably shorts getting pushed out of their positions. So on the MACD getting ready to cross over and go bearish again, and we're just waiting for a reversal um, in this volatility mod tool right now because volatility has been up and down. It's been crazy recently. It doesn't show us the volatility mod tool cannot confirm the direction because of the volatility being too great over a short period of time, right? So, all right, that being said, we're under the daily pivot. 29,343 is the daily pivot, and volatility is 3.3 on the 4 hour. So, volatility is coming back down, and we'll just have to wait and see if the bulls can hold this area. They've already lost this fib, so the next, logically, the next fib area, next price point or fib is down here. Price point support 28,841, and then the fib is 28,587. So we could again see another visit down to this area, right? This area between 28,847 and this fib of 28,576, right down in this area. So, because like I said, we are in a bearish configuration, 50 under the 20, and that's, you know, pretty much a signal for the bulls to wait on the sidelines until we see some type of news or see some type of a large player pushing it up, or when we see the price, for whatever reason, pull that 50 back up over the 200. So, and the fact that they could not hang on to that push up back into that previous consolidation range above 29,900 is a little concerning. They'll probably make another push again for it sometime this week because you do see some buyers coming in here. Okay, so again, this could be, a large player like, Michael Saylor or some whales or whatever. So I don't think right now it's so significant. I don't think it's news that is going to keep the market, moving higher and changing direction at this time. Like I've said, August is usually a flat month. And so I think that's probably what's going to happen. August is going to continue to be slow or flat. And when we move into uh, Q4 of this year, the latter end of the year, I think that's when things are going to start picking up, and that I think that's probably when you're going to see a change in a sustained change in direction for the bulls. How far the price comes down until then, not really sure. Taking a look at the daily, you can see bad news right here. Um, this is called a bearish engulfing, and so basically this is just a continuation in this series of bearish engulfing candles. Whenever you see this, we had our bearish engulfing candle up here, and that was that rejection, and that was part of that weekly um, gravestone candle that I told you about. And then after that, we've had this downtrend, right? And then we had another one. We continue to get these bearish engulfing, red bearish engulfing candles. Now at some point in time, they're going to stop. They're going to quit. And you can see here price is trying to hold onto the fib level here of 29,151 on the daily. 29,151 on the daily. Now, we are bullish. We do maintain bullish structure on the daily chart. We have the 200 moving average. And I've told you this before, um, you know, long as price is going sideways, right? The longer price goes sideways, maybe drifting down, it's going to be pulling that 200 moving average up under it like so, and then price is going to meet around the 200. Price and the moving average, the 200 moving average, will meet somewhere in the middle here, depending on how fast price comes down, and it's going to be forced to make a decision. The market will be forced to make a decision. Bulls will be forced to make a decision. Either they will buy more at the support of the 20, acting at support, or they will sell, right? So those are the choices. And so you see the 50 kind of rounding off here, showing a loss of momentum. And then the question is, are we going to come down to the 200? And where is the 200 moving average going to be if and when price does come down that far, right? So not surprising that we came down to this area and saw some buying, because this is actually, the yellow line is a zero point 0.5 fib. The zero point 0.5 fib is a common place where bulls buy, right here, 0.5 fib. And below that is the golden pocket, the 0.6 fib. And this is a very common buy area for the bulls. Okay, we do have a node of volume here on the volume profile here. Right here, a node of volume. And so remember I said before that this here is a gap where we actually went straight through that gap to the zero point 0.5 fib to the top of that node, showing a lot of transactions taking place, a lot of buying and selling, but primarily when you're above a zone like that, this does act as support. Even if it is a temporary support, even if you do break it, it does provide support. So that's what I'm expecting. And so we came all the way down here, and we had a large amount of buying, not extremely large, but in comparison to what we've seen over the past days, we saw a larger amount of buying, but that was less than, you can see here, declining volume. Here's a green candle on volume, and then here's another one lower, and then down here it was even lower, right? So although we had a dramatic move higher, trying to get back into that previous zone, and saw that come in at the zero point 0.5 fib, it still is on the historical volume bars. It's still a lower low, so not enough to turn anything around. And again, we have this candlestick showing itself to be the daily here red, and this is a engulfing candlestick, which shows it shows that it's bearish, and possibly a more downside to go, um, because all of the buying was reversed. So whoever was buying, um, the amount of volume that pushed that price higher, that volume was then sold off. Okay. That being said, volatility on the daily, it's under 10. So it's still, a consolidation type of volatility. Now, when I say that, I don't mean that we're consolidating sideways, right? I mean, we could, but I'm talking about the level of volatility. Whenever it's under 10 or under 15, that's very low. And so, with that type of volatility, you're not really expecting anything to be moving in any direction with a lot of force. So I'm not expecting this to be breaking down in a big way, and I'm not expecting this to be breaking up and out in a big way. What I'm expecting is just, a lot of this, a lot of small little movements, choppy movements. Yeah, there is a bias to the downside. There is a small bias to the downside, but you can see that it's taking forever, right? So there's no real conviction here, and there's no real big move here. Um, it's just price floating down, grinding down little bit by little bit by little bit, and there's no real big moves behind this, because whenever you see a big move breaking from a range, that is due to large amount of volume, and that shows conviction, and we just don't see that right now. So in my book, in my mind, this is not a real big breakdown. This is just a lot of boredom, short-term holders, short-term traders. They are playing around in the volatility, whatever little there is, and it's just floating down, hitting a little bit of sell orders here and there. Not a big deal. So we're still on the daily above the 200. We're still bullish in structure on the daily. You can see that. So it's really insignificant what's been happening over the last few days. Um, we got rejected from that area. We're expecting to come down further. I'm expecting to actually revisit this golden pocket area where this volume node is right here. So how long it takes, not really sure. It doesn't have to take that long, but I do expect us to come back down, test the 28,350 level not long from now, and then after that, this area from that 28,350 down to the 27,500 level. And I've said this in previous videos quite some time ago that we could be coming down to this area. I do expect a lot of bullish behavior in this area, a lot of buying. So not sure if we're going to break lower than that, but we will see some type of slowing in the decline, I think. It's already slow now, but I think that if anything, we'll probably go sideways here for a while. And then if the bulls can hold this area, we go sideways like this, then we have another chance to push up and retest that 29,900 level. So there you have it, friends. I don't want to make the video too long. That's Bitcoin for you. That is the pretty much the chart analysis that I'm seeing so far. We have 5 hours on this current red candle, this current daily candle, to reverse this. Otherwise, it will close in a bearish engulfing candle, which is bearish, and we could see that's just confirming the weakness, and we would see more downside from that. So 5 hours, if we don't raise above, if we don't close above 29,300 or 29,400, if we don't close above that within 5.5, 6 hours, actually 5.5 hours, if we don't close above that in 5.5 hours, this is going to close bearish, and we'll see more downside. So thanks, friends. Appreciate your time. Take care.